Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Fear Street Part 2, 1978. Oh my god. This is probably the best horror movie I've ever seen in decades. Like, there's been a lot of remakes lately. There's been a lot of new stuff. A lot of people have mixed feelings about that, but not this. Oh my god, this is creepy like I don't know what. These people took their actual time to flesh out a three-part series of horror slasher type thing. It is so well put together that they deserve awards. This should be on DVD, but it's not. It's on Netflix. And as we all know, Netflix does not like bringing this stuff out on DVD, because once they do, then you're gonna like cut off your service, and they fear that. So that's why like Daredevil only got like 2 seasons on DVD, and the third one never came out, I don't think. And the second season is so hard to find on DVD and Blu-ray. And so like, the first part 1 was really good, 1994. But the second one, my god, the way they killed people in this thing. And there was way more people dying in the second part. They amped up the body kills by like 100. And what's really creepy and scary is that the majority of people that died in the second part were kids, teenagers, and a few adults. This is unheard of. You never see kids getting murdered on TV, movies, nothing. But they did it in a cinematic way. You never saw the actual kid really getting hit. So it always happens. So it was like you would see like the person, you see like the killer, and the killer would like hit the camera. So it would be like that. So you never actually saw the kid getting whacked until the very last one. And it was so gruesome. I never saw nobody getting like, because you see people getting stabbed all the time in movies, but you don't feel the impact from like the camera, but you feel it. Because because in most movies, they don't give you, like they give you like the puncture wound, but they don't do it in a way that sounds realistic. It's mostly just a blade you hear. But here, oh my God, at the end, when the one killer was stabbing the young girl and the other one had the axe and stabbing her older sister, you could feel it through the screen. You could hear it, and it felt so realistic. And the body movement as they did it, and they just stood still as they kept going over and over. I've never seen nothing like this in horror before. And I've seen slasher movies, horror movies. I've never seen anything on the level. I've seen Scream. I've never seen that level of impact. Probably the closest thing that'll come in is the slasher TV series called Slasher. And I'm just like, oh my God. Now, I will say about this second entry. It's 2 hours just like the other one, but the first hour is very weighed down. Basically, the first hour is just kids at summer camp and people being mean to each other. That's all it is. Once you get into the second half of this movie, like the second hour, oh, it amps up. And it amps up bad and big. And people are dying left and right. Like the dude with the axe, he is unrelenting and he's just going at it. And it's just, oh my God. I could not believe it. And it's just like, because the witch lady is still, this is like in the past now. And they're showing like, you know, what happened at summer camp from, so, you know, it takes place originally from the ending of the first one where the phone call happens. And so like the kids, they go and they break into the house of the woman. The woman is weird. She has some type of ODC, whatever you call that stuff. And she has an alarm for everything she does during the day. She has an alarm to wake her up. She has an alarm for her to brush her teeth. Alarm for her to brush her hair, wash her face, feed the dog, wash her hands, use the bathroom. And it's like, why? Why is she like this? Like, it doesn't make sense. Even the stuff that happened to her in the past that we will find out, it doesn't make sense as to why she is like this, because she wasn't even like that in the past. But it's like, it's weird. So it sets up that creepy ear. Now I will say this is not based off of any of the Fear Street books. This is basically just this one these people network taking R.L. Stein's work, and they just made their own thing up. So he didn't actually write this. I wish to God he did, because this is creepy. But I can't find no reference to this in any of the books that got published on the Fear Street thing. So when they break in, they all like, hey, you know, you talked to us on the phone, you talked about how you survived in there. And she's all like, look, I can't help you. Y'all need to pack up y'all stuff and leave the city as far as you can. Leave Shady Side, which is what the city is called. And they're all like, they can't, because she loves Sam so much and she has to help her. And she's all like, how did you survive? Like, how? Because you apparently died and came back to life, so that didn't break the curse, so what will? So this woman, who's played by Jillian Jacobs, which I just love Jillian Jacobs so much. She's such a good actress from Community. She tells the story. Her name is C. Berman, but her real name is Ziggy. And she tells the story of how when she was in summer camp, everything just went wrong for her. So basically, this is the hour part that sets up all the characters and all this other stuff. So basically, Ziggy, she was like a little redhead girl, and she's from Shady side, and the other people in camp are from like Sunny side, and they hate each other because the Shady people, you know, it's like a dismal city, whatever. So she's constantly getting picked on. They call her a witch. They call her ugly. They call her this. Throughout the entire, like, you just see her getting like dumped on by so many people, but she has so much major attitude, and so she's constantly getting in trouble with them, and they don't get in trouble. You know, they're the ones picking on her. So she hates how everybody's dumping on her. The only person she likes there is like the nurse. She doesn't even like her sister, who's like a counselor and stuff. So her counselor has this boyfriend. They're both virgins. Her sister's a really good person, wants to get into a good college. She wants to, her older sister wants to move out of Shady side. She wants to make something of herself, you know. Her sister is called Cindy, and Tommy's her boyfriend. Well, her former best friend, who's also a counselor there, is this one girl, and the one girl is just terrible. She's rude, she's crude, she's constantly banging people. Well, her boyfriend, she's constantly doing drugs, and she can't stand this girl. So like, these other girls at camp, they basically just like bully Ziggy all the time. They burnt her. She goes to the nurse. The nurse is acting weird. The nurse is possessed and tries to kill Tommy. And so basically, a lot of craziness happens to where Cindy and her friend, they find like the book of the witch, which is that I think it's Sarah Fur, I think her name is. Yeah, Sarah Fur. And so like, they run into like the woods, so Cindy's chasing after them. They fall down like a cave part area, and that's where they get trapped. All of a sudden, Tommy is possessed because his name has now been written on the wall of the cave, so he can be the new killer. And boy, is he killing. He takes that axe and he's going whacking, and he just starts whacking Cindy's former friend's boyfriend to pits and pieces. And then like, he goes running after them, but then he gets up on top somehow, and then he's going back to the camp. And this is when the killing spree happens, when he's killing all the kids. The counselors are freaked. They're trying to get everybody in the mess hall. They're trying to get everybody to the van. They're trying to avoid, you know, Tommy from doing this. And so Cindy, her and one of the counselors, they kind of like each other. It's this one boy. And this one boy, I couldn't believe who he was in the beginning. His name is Nick. And Nick should sound familiar. Sheriff Nick from the first movie. So back when he was like a little counselor dude, like, you know, his dad wanted him to be a cop and everything, because his dad's a cop. So he's doing his best to save everybody. And so Ziggy, she realized her sister still hasn't been found yet, so she goes looking for her. But then she realized she left the bully girl unattended and stuff and locked up. So next thing you know, um, the killing is still like happening, and Nick is telling like the other counselor dude, like, look, get all the kids on the bus. Once you ring that bell, that lets me know that it's time to leave, and I'll try to like find the others if I can't. And then I'm gonna haul butt back to the van, and then we all finna get up out of here, and then call the police and stuff like that, because the phone service is down for some reason. And so this is before cell phones. Remember, this is like in the 70s, and so like, eventually like Ziggy and Cindy meet up and they get rescued. Her former friend, they kind of reconcile a little bit. She breaks her leg, and then she finds the former girl's friend. She finds the hand of Sarah Fur, which is what Sarah's been looking for. They think if they reunite the hand with the body, then this will end everything. Problem is, they don't know where the body is. And so then Tommy finally meets up with the two sisters. And then this other killer meets up with the two sisters. I think it's the girl with the scars on her face with the switchblade. Tommy is the one from the first movie with the bag over his head and the axe. The reason why he had a bag over his head is because they tried to suffocate him. It did not work. Killing this dude, stabbing this dude did not work. Then it happened. Cindy's all like, just leave my sister alone, and blah, 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 blah. And both of the killers kill both girls. And they are brutal at what they're doing. This is like was so much intense. I could not believe what I was seeing. I've never seen a murder like this in a horror movie ever play out like this, where you just see the two girls laying on the ground and constantly getting stabbed and like hacked and stuff. So both girls literally die. And then both of the killers like leave after that. Then Nick comes in and he resuscitates Ziggy. That's how she survived all this thing. And all them stabbed, like, God, you thought she would have been dead by now. But then, so she lived that, and she's been in fear ever since. Nick, of course, became the sheriff. And so the two kids, Dina and Josh from the first movie, they're all like, look, you still have the hand, and everything. We know where the body is. No. She doesn't have the hand. They buried the hand for some reason under a tree. For some bizarre reason. I forgot why. So they're all like, we know where the body's at. Do you think if we put the hand back with the body, would that work? She's like, I don't know. So she's all like, so they go back to the tree. The camp has now been turned into like a mini mall. And the tree is the tree from the first movie that was inside the middle of the mall. So they dig underneath there and they get the hand. They place the hand back with the body. As soon as Dina does that, something freaky happens. She is teleported back through time and inhabiting the body of another person. Back in, I think, 16, God, what year was that? 1666. So I think she's about to be beheaded or something like that. They think she's a witch. And so it ends just like that. And she don't know how she got there. So then in which is the last one I haven't watched yet, somehow Josh goes back into town. I can't wait to see how this ends. They intensified the second movie so much, except for that first hour. That was so boring. But, it set up who these people are. But then you didn't need a whole hour to set that up. But yeah, man, this is like one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. And as such, you can't own it on DVD or Blu-ray. Like, that's just torture right there. That wasn't that spooky. All right, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.